Okay, I'm at the house of Bill French, and guess what? At his house, it's Christmas daily,
That's right.
and he is the Santa Claus for Houston, Texas, and he has been doing it for
Almost 30 years.
30 years. Wow. And you'll see to the left is his Santa suit. And so, Bill French, when did you join or when did you think of becoming Santa and why?
I used to throw darts and play shuffleboard
Okay.
at a place that where the girl that owns the place and I went to high school together in New York. Just found her completely by surprise, and she at the time she knew I was taking acting classes and did do a lot of shows around the town in the smaller theaters and even at the alley. But she bought me a crummy old Santa suit and had me come out to her place and do Santa every year. So technically, the first 5 years was pretty much just that. But then I got a hold of several agents, and boy, they started really making me work. Boy, they had me busy.
So you started in Houston, Texas, or
Yes,
some other
started here.
here? Okay.
Started here back in early '80s, really,
Okay.
as and continued pretty much straight through. And this is about the last, might be the last time if I don't get my back fixed,
Okay.
because I have a problem with my back.
So can I ask you on screen how old you are right now? How young you are right now?
68.
68.
Well, legally 68.
Oh, okay, great.
But as far as Santa goes back to 233.
And wow.
That's St. Nicholas.
Right.
St. Nicholas was the original real Santa.
Right.
And he was even sainted before he died, which wouldn't be heard of nowadays.
Right.
Not only that, he was allowed to keep all his wealth, which was tremendous. His father and mother were importer-exporters, so they were very wealthy. And they both died in a plague of some sort,
Oh.
but he survived. But he was already going to the convent for school. He just stayed in the convent and became a priest. He was known as the priest of, it's on the southern coast of Turkey, but back then it was Greece. And he used to go around and throw money over the fence to people who needed it.
Wow.
And he had a lot of it, so he thought he'd do it, but he always wanted to keep it secret.
Hmm.
But one thing he started, which we still do today, that in fact I remember I came from up north, and it gets pretty chilly, and when you come in the house after playing, you got a lot of snow and everything on your shoes, so you got to take your shoes and socks off, and you put them on the heater in the floor. Back then they didn't have those; they had chimneys and stone fireplaces that they cooked in and heated with and everything.
Right. Mm.
And so they would put their stockings on the chimney.
Yeah.
And guess what? When the priest came to bless the children in the house, he would secretly drop coins in the socks. In the socks.
Mm.
Hence
That tradition. That tradition. Yeah.
It goes all the way back to the first real St. Nicholas.
I see.
And after that, he became all kinds of things.
So what made you want to become Santa? What was the innermost emotion that appealed to you?
Well, it was acting.
Oh, okay.
And I liked acting.
Okay.
But beyond that, it was something I enjoyed. I really enjoyed seeing the reaction of the children.
Okay.
And the more I did it, the more I really felt that this was really a calling. It was a true calling because I'm always on Christmas because I'm always been fat and I've had a beard almost continuously for several, I don't know, 20 years anyway. I used to shave on the day after Christmas every year. But then I decided, shoot, I might as well let it go.
So you started it when you were about 35 years old, roughly?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, a
Little later.
about that.
Yeah.
About that, I guess.
Okay.
And it's been a pleasure ever since. But let me tell you the story about that changed my life. Really, I mean, I enjoyed doing it. And it was a lot of fun and playing with the kids and doing things that they love, and that is for the most part magic. So,
Oh.
and I have what's called a Christmas firefly.
Oh, cool.
And the kids just think this is a wonderful thing in the world, and they love seeing me play with it. But one of the things I noticed even when I didn't wear any red, and I usually am wearing red,
Right.
and I know that I have power. I have power because of just who I resemble.
Kids recognize you on the street.
You do, and in the stores.
Ah.
And you get a little kid crying in the waiting line,
Right.
and I'll only have to do this, and immediately they
Light
stare
up.
at me, and they stop crying, at least for a minute or two. Same thing with kids fighting. I always find the little kids fighting because they don't want to even be there, but they have parents have to drag them along, so they come and they fight. And I do the same thing with them. I said, no, that's naughty. Don't do that. And they stare, and sometimes they'll follow me around, all around the store. But it really opened, one thing that really opened my eyes, besides those things, was I was invited to be a full Santa with the full regalia up in the Burn Center in Galveston.
Oh.
I didn't want to do it because I didn't think I could control my emotions.
Right.
But I did it. I wore my full fancy suit, and when I opened it, and this was in July, hot, very hot. And this thing is very hot. But I knew the children would be badly injured and badly misformed, and they were.
Right.
But the only thing I remember is opening that door and seeing the gleam in their eye and realizing I was bringing happiness to them when no one else could.
And it helps in their healing faster.
Oh, you bet.
Yes.
And my wife, early on when I first met her, she worked in the burn unit
I see.
of a hospital. She's a nurse, was a nurse. And she used to come home and wanted me to drink and she doesn't drink because it was so wicked.
Yeah.
It was horrific for
Traumatic.
her as a caregiver.
To see that.
And seeing these people suffer because there is almost no way they can escape the burn itself and then the fixing of the burn. Yikes! And she already told me how bad it was. And the reason we were doing this in July in Galveston was because a good number of these children would not be alive by Christmas. And that really did it. Right then and there decided I'm going to I was a lawyer for also about 30 years, but I quit that about 4 or 5 years.
So what was your specialty in law?
I was a litigation specialist, civil litigation.
Okay.
And I enjoyed that at the beginning, but then it got to be not so much fun. And when this came along, I thought, oh boy, I got to do this. This is something so I quit law a little bit early, but I quit it to become a full-time Santa.
So do you have plans to leave Texas, or what are your future plans?
My wife and I are hoping to make a final home in the Jacksonville, Florida area, because that's where my oldest daughter is. And since we're falling apart, I hope she could pick up the pieces.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And maybe being my elf.
Right. So in the last 30 years, how many Santa gigs have you done, approximately?
I do I do a lot, and about a third of all the ones I do are for free, for pro bono, for not true nonprofits.
Charitable causes.
Mostly all nonprofit 501c3 type organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Because, in fact, I have one way up the street here in a week or so. BPSOS,
Okay.
which I just ran into them by accident,
I see.
but I remembered them from when I was going to high school,
Mm-hmm.
because I heard that name from my uncle who was stationed in Vietnam, and that was Boat People SOS.
I see.
This was an organization that went worldwide. What a phenomenal organization this must have been. Wherever the Vietnam people wanted to go, that is where this group was found.
Okay.
And they would help them get the language, learn about the areas that they wanted to move into, and help them all the way around to help them get know where they needed to go and get the things they needed to get. And I was very surprised to hear that they're still around. The scope has changed completely. In fact, it's still taking care of children, and that's their primary focus now. But it's children that come from not so nice homes, where the parents have split, there's some fighting maybe, that type of thing. But the ones that I get to see are the nicest kids in the world. They're very, very polite, and if parents can hang on to them that age,
Yeah.
then they'd never have any problems with them. But because they are such a delight to do, and I've been doing them for many years now. I can't remember how many, and I've never taken anything, and I enjoy that very much. And I worked with the Texas Children's
Hospital.
Unit, which was also a bit shaky when you go around and find the number of babies with cancer. It's astounding. It truly was astounding. But it was fun at the beginning because most of the kids that could get around, they would come in one big party type room, and they had a wonderful group of volunteers that kicked in a mountain of presents for them.
Wow.
And they just loved that. One of the Santas gave him what's that, erector toy, not erector, the transformer toy.
Mm-hmm.
And he just immediately started crying. And the Santa asked him, "Well, what's wrong, little boy? This is exactly like the one I lost."
Wow.
In the tornado. And another one, his little girl was so cute. The Santa had a whole bunch of Barbie dolls. And she leaned over and said, "Now, which one would you like?" And she just grabbed every one of them. All of them. They were just wonderful kids. All get together, there'll be 50, 60 Santas, which makes it a little bit hard for kids to realize which one is the real one.
So this is the Texas
And we
Santa's
constantly get
Association?
together. We meet, yes, Lone Star Santa Charities. Well, actually, Lone Star Santas. And we meet several times a year.
So how many Santas in that?
Over 200.
200.
And we meet at least every other month. Some of them up in Dallas like to meet every month.
Okay.
They like to have lunches up there.
Okay.
And they are just about as big as we are down here, even though Lone Star Santas was formed from a core of us here in the Houston area. But we're all over the state of Texas. We have 2 reindeer herders.
Oh.
One in Waxahachie and another one down in Dickinson.
Okay.
And they really have real reindeer. And it's a lot of fun. We like to go visit them so that we can get our pictures taken with our duds on, and it's really kind of neat. But
So
summertime, it's still a little hot.
right. So can you give us a traditional Santa laugh?
Ho, 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 ho! Can I give you a ho, ho, ho! You betcha. You bet I can, and I hope everybody has a very, very Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thanks.